Introducing the Doane family of Doane Family Farms, stewards of a legacy that began in 1961. From humble beginnings to collaborative farming in the 80s and 90s, witness their resilience, generational transitions, and the unique stories that have shaped their enduring legacy. Join us for a captivating exploration of hard work, family bonds, and the evolution of farming practices spanning over 6 decades. Meet Steve Doane, a farmer whose journey began in 5th grade. Despite initial challenges, his family shaped a resilient farming legacy.
Well, I guess my biggest story of farming was we all started farming when we were in junior high age, or maybe I think I started running tractors in 5th grade and had cattle and probably some hogs at that time. But my biggest story would be that our parents never really encouraged us to farm, but they gave us the opportunity to farm. And in high school, I think we all had the opportunity to farm some of their land that they had been renting. And then I went to college and worked off the farm. But when I wanted to come back to farm, why my dad was getting out and my brothers, they also gave me the opportunity to farm. They didn't discourage me. They made room for me, and then that first 5 years, it was huge being able to have them to help me get started farming. It took about 5 years till I was actually making money, seemed like.
Explore Marcia Doane's farm journey since 1972, a conservative approach. 4 boys involved, shaping a legacy of hard work.
We started here in 1972 when we got married and slowly expanded. My husband was pretty conservative, and whatever extra money we had went into buying land. We had 4 boys and they all helped on the farm. We encouraged them to work. They weren't always encouraging, but we encouraged them to work and become involved in all the operations. They got to cut musk thistle and row milo and all those good fun things, and learned to drive combines and trucks at a pretty young age.
Join Steve Doane and his brothers in a unique farming collaboration, telling a powerful story of support and efficiency.
All my brothers, we had separate operations. We worked together on a lot of things. We owned maybe a few pieces of equipment together, but for the most part, we had our own land that we farmed, and our operations were separate. We just harvested together and sometimes planted together and worked cattle together, had cattle together.
In general, helped each other out.
Yeah, we helped each other out. We could hire less people, have less equipment.
Explore pivotal years when Glennis Doane's husband, Gary, served on the Kansas Farm Bureau State Board, highlighting the support that made his contributions possible.
There were lots of years when my husband Gary was involved with Kansas Farm Bureau and did a lot of traveling for them on the state board, and Steve was the go-to person. That things were left in charge with Steve, and Gary couldn't have had that opportunity without someone at home to make it work at home, so that was good.
Rodney Doane shares a compelling tale of generational farming, a model initiated then echoes through today's partnerships, fostering enduring success.
Steve said, talking about Grandpa Doane, Ralph, their dad, when he didn't specifically encourage them, but he set up a model that allowed them to come back, and that same model has been used. So then Dad used that same model with us and gave us an opportunity. I was just an 8th grader, and my older brother Michael was in high school. He actually got the opportunity about the time he was a sophomore in high school, and then a couple years later I got added into that. And then as Michael transitioned out, then we rolled, Brad and Craig rolled into that farm ground, and that model we continue to use with our current employees that we've now made partners. And so there's been this multi-generational introduction into farming that got started with Ralph and Eileen across the road here. And so that model has been very successful, and we hope that part continues. And even like now, my oldest son got an opportunity a couple of years ago to farm some land. And so now he's a senior in high school, and because of that experience, he's also wanting to go to K-State and thinking about coming back to the family farm. It's been a real testament to a long-term vision that Grandpa Doane had that is going to continue for multi-generations.
In this insightful excerpt, Craig Doane delves into the unique machinery model adopted by his father. Exploring the mindset of ownership, Craig highlights its value.
And a big part of this was this machinery that's for sale is, Dad bought something, never sold it. So that's why some of the machinery is what it is because that was his mentality, was because when he bought it, he owned it, and if he ever needed to use it again, he wanted to have the chance to just
And he
fix
liked
it up.
he liked to fix things.
Yeah.
So he kept them fixed.
So that machinery model, part of that model that we're talking about, was really valuable to us. One thing I might want to say is that this isn't like we're selling out. It's just a continuation on, and that we're trying to evolve and adapt to changing machinery and get through that process.
Marcia Doane shares a humorous tale of the red truck, her designated ride during harvest.
Well, I could tell a story about the red truck. That was my truck to drive during harvest. That thing was 120 inside if it was 90 outside, because all the heat came off the engine into the cab, so you'd sweat. And here the guys are in the combines, air conditioning, and I asked Keith one time why I couldn't learn to run a combine. Well, they cost a lot of money, and you won't be able to hear if something goes wrong. So I had to stay in the truck. Pretty soon, when they first got the semis, I decided I was done driving a truck. I wasn't going to learn to drive a semi. They all had air conditioning and they got it easy. I guess I should have learned to drive a semi.
Well, you didn't tell the best part of that story.
Oh, what is the best part?
You wanted to know why it was so hot in your truck, and then Dad come, because it was the middle of summer when it was hot, and finally he drove it and he said it's like terrible hot in here, and he goes, well, the heater's on.
Yeah.
In a reflective moment, Rodney Doane shares his journey into no-till farming, highlighting the transition from experimentation to embracing it exclusively in one generation.
Now, one of the funny questions my son asked me a couple of years ago, since we've been no-till, that was one of the real opportunities after I came back, is Dad said, well, we're going to take this 80 up here and we'll no-till on it, and we'll keep doing conventional tillage on the rest of the farm. And
It's experiment.
yeah, so we did that, and then we obviously moved into exclusively pretty much no-till. In one generation, my son asked me, what are they doing out there when they were running a tractor and disc? Because we had never done that since he was born.
Yeah.
And he had no idea what tillage was.
Rodney reminisces about the vibrant teamwork in the 80s and 90s wheat era, running combines, sharing meals, and the evolution of field traditions, capturing the essence of collaborative farming.
Some of the best times of working together like that were back in the 80s and 90s when wheat was really king around here, and we ran 3 combines together and had trucks and stuff working together, and you got to come to the harvest field and the meals that the ladies cooked and brought to the field, and
Those have evolved too.
Yes. We used to take a lot more food out to the field in pots and pans than we do now.
Yeah. Well, we feed them, but it's in a different manner. It's called styrofoam.
All right.
As the Doane family embarks on a new chapter, trading in cherished equipment for the promise of innovation, we're honored to have shared their journey. Thank you for joining us in celebrating their resilience, hard work, and generational bond. We also extend our appreciation for choosing Purple Wave Auction to usher in a new chapter for their cherished farm equipment. Here's to the Doane family's enduring legacy and the future they're building.